The cosmos is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. Our feeblest contemplations of the cosmos stirs us. There is a tingling in the spine, a catch in the voice, a faint sensation as if a distant memory of falling from a height. We know we are approaching the greatest of mysteries. Now this was the beginning paragraph of Cosmos, Carl Sagan's best-selling and greatest masterpiece. Carl Sagan used this to teach everybody that astronomy runs through our veins, and we are connected to astronomy in a way that we may not even feel or know about it. In this video, we're going to talk about the cosmic perspective and Carl Sagan's idea of humility. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back everybody. My name is Ahmad Mansoor Ramizy and welcome to Astromaniac. Today we're going to talk about Cosmos, but not the book Cosmos. We just read the first paragraph. We're going to talk about Carl Sagan's other best-selling book, The Pale Blue Dot, which is an immense book that goes over through different aspects of space travel and the space travel during his time. In the beginning of the 20th century, two brothers in America invented the airplane. Now this was the first time that humans actually got off from the ground using a machine, a properly built and aerodynamic machine. Now humans have fantasized about traveling and about flying since the dawn of mankind. We have always wanted to be free, we have always wanted to be able to fly like birds can, and we've always wanted to have the sensation of freedom just like birds have. But that was probably the first time human beings were actually able to experience that. In a time span of 60 years, human beings set foot on the moon. Human beings started out their foraging ever since they evolved into this conscious species. Human beings used to migrate all over the place, move from cold places to warm places if needed, and from warm places to cold places if needed. They used to tackle obstacles, they used to go over mountains and cross rivers, and this sensation of exploration evolved through all of us and throughout the centuries. Human beings tried to go as far away as possible to find distant lands, to find places that no one else ever imagined even existed. We tried to find these continents that were not discovered, these chunks of land that we have never even thought existed before, until a point where every single corner of this earth was mapped and was discovered. There was nowhere left. What was left now for human beings was to look up in the sky and try to go there, where they thought their gods were residing. Now this opened a huge era for human beings, the era of air and space travel. As I first mentioned, it only took 60 years for human beings to get from a plane to the surface of the moon. We've been going to space at a constant rate ever since then. We've been able to send our probes, our satellites, our technologies, our man-made objects all the way out to the solar system, and even on other planets, on the surface of other planets. Even as we are talking right now, a rover is just driving around the surface of another planet. If that does not stir up the emotions of somebody, then I don't know what is. Imagine yourself watching this YouTube video and eating or drinking something in the comfort of your own house. And take a look up at the sky. Millions and millions of kilometers away, we human beings were able to create a machine and then push it out into the edge of the solar system. Just as we are speaking right now, a rover, a tiny machine, a tiny car is just going around the surface of another planet. The surface of a planet that has been dead for at least, as much as we know, for billions of years, and probably millions if not billions of years. And if that does not stir your emotions, then I don't know what will. we've been able to visit the most fearsome planets on our solar system. Mercury and Venus are one of the hottest planets in the whole solar system. They are so hot that even lead will melt on the surface. As soon as we discovered space flight, we targeted these planets, and we were able to send our probes over there, and we were able to get good results. We were able to see what the compositions of these planets are. We were able to take snapshots of the surface and the mountain ranges of these planets. We were able to go to Venus and find out what happened there in Venus, the runaway greenhouse effect in Venus, which is very similar to what we're experiencing nowadays, although we're probably in a very beginning stages here on Earth. But the coolest thing about spaceflight is the fact that we are able to send pictures, and the pictures keeps getting better and better. Now, if you search online for planet pictures, almost half of the pictures that you would see on online platforms are all real, and they were taken through our space satellites and space probes, and that is magnificent. No other time in history has any space satellite or any man-made object were able to go over in a planet or a moon and stay around the orbit of that moon or planet and then take snapshots of the surface with such precision and such resolution that you would be able to distinguish what is what and how, and what components are available on the surface of that planet. All these things are the practical implications of what we are doing here with astronomy around the world, and what astronomers are doing and astrophysicists are doing around the world. But aside from the practical and the engineering parts of astronomy and space travel, we have the philosophical notion of space travel. And I believe the philosophy behind everything is as much important as the practical side. Carl Sagan provides us with a very broad perspective on space. He called it the cosmic perspective. Now, what basically the cosmic perspective states is the humility that human beings needs to have when they are trying to look at space and they're trying to understand space. Human beings fight over such small things, and they are always and constantly into getting into trouble over so tiny stuff that doesn't make any sense in this vast cosmos. For example, if you go out of this Earth and if you take a look back at the surface of the planet, the features and the countries and the borders will not make any sense anymore. We are just indistinguishable with the blue and the red and the green and the white clouds. We are just indistinguishable. We cannot see humans. We cannot see our mega structures. We cannot even see any other surface features of the planet aside from the green and the blue. Now, this is important because if we move a little bit back, we will only be able to see the blue planet and nothing else. If we move even backwards, we are facing with a range of stars in the background, a range of stars that have been dispersed in the background, and our sun, with all its immensity and all its huge and vastness, it just disappears in the background as another star, as another tiny speck of dust. And if we even move further back, we will witness that the whole clusters of these stars that looked mega and huge will just disperse in this big, gigantic, and huge cloud of other stars and dust and space gases, which we call the galaxy. And if we move even backwards, our galaxy will also vanish among the millions and millions of other galaxies in the universe. And the human self-centeredness and the human selfishness doesn't make any sense now. The practical implications of science has been very well known. We all know that science is useful through its technological advancements, through its discoveries, through its through giving us new things, and through developing new techniques and new technologies to help us to create better living standards and to create better societies and a better world. But we also have to understand that the cosmic perspective will also give us a view, a new eyesight to the universe, the eyesight that will enable us to think that we are not self-centered and the earth is not the center of the universe. The human beings and human life is not the center of the universe. We are just a speck of dust and nothing more. And if there is a meaning in this universe, then the meaning will be to find out why we're here and how we are here, and try to answer these questions logically through the same method that we first discovered our unmeaningness, science. I will now read one of the most famous passages from Carl Sagan's book, The Pale Blue Dot. When the Voyager spacecraft completed its mission, it took a snapshot of the Earth. And among the many, many distant stars in the background, the Earth appeared a pale blue dot. Carl Sagan writes about that pale blue dot as such. But for us, it's different. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love,
everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve
and cherish
the pale blue dot,
the only home we've ever known. Carl Sagan here tries to state the humility we need to have towards ourselves, towards each other, and towards our friends and family. Because the cosmic perspective shows us how tiny we are and how unselfish we must be. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys in the next episodes.